we all look at ancestors in a different way and think about ancestors in a different way. And this may be a really different way to look at your ancestral history. Um, but it's been a journey that has been really exciting for me. So the way I got involved in this was I heard about this rabbi who was very into the ancestors, and she was doing something through the Carolyn Mason Institute. And I thought, how interesting, because even though I'm a religious science minister, I grew up Jewish. And I've kind of not done anything involved with my Judaism for a really long time. So I thought, how cool. And then to experience this woman, and she is just phenomenal. She is Rabbi Tirza Firestone. And I took a 6-month training with her, and then just did another 4 weeks with her. So it's just incredible. And what I hope that you take away today is some sense of your ancestors that you don't know. We're going to do a couple of visualizations along them, get chills. So, and I've been sick this week, and I don't think it's those chills.
I got chills too.
But I get chills just talking about this. So it's changed my relationship to my ancestors, and I've always been interested. I've done the whole ancestry thing. Haven't gotten as far as I would like to get with it, but I have done the DNA, and my DNA says I am 100%, if you can be 100% in European Jewish. So that would mean that the line is pure all the way to my ancestry, and I don't believe that that's true, but close enough. And so now I have a sense of them, and I go to them quite often. So, okay. So let's look at this. What if we are our own ancestors?
It's me.
And we follow a lineage from lifetime to lifetime. I so believe that now, after doing this work, that we have been members of our family before, and that we are of the same lineage, and in many varied and different ways. Does anybody else have that sense that that's happened to you? Okay. So, in looking at your ancestors, I've done a lot of study as well with Native American tribes. And our male ancestors stand behind us on our right, and our female ancestors stand behind us on our left. And they're looking at us and they are saying, oh, maybe this will be the one who breaks the harmful family patterns. And I absolutely believe that that's me in my lineage, and that that's why I'm still here, because my family is gone. I'm the last of the Mohicans. So I see it as part of my mission in this part of my lifetime. What this has brought to me is looking at the things that I carry that my family carried. For instance, low self-esteem, and just a sense of independence, that over-independence that I wish I didn't have, quite frankly. So we can go to the next slide. Okay, so why ancestral healing? to know who you are through the lens of your ancestors, and to understand yourself more completely. And that's always what it's all about, isn't it? Understanding you and who you are. And so if you stop and just think about this. This is not something we're going to share in the interest of time, but what family legacies shaped by your ancestors' history do you think have come down to you? I would highly recommend this book, Wounds into Wisdom by Dr. Teresa Firestone. And just to show you how all of this works, I'm going to share a story from here with you. So she had a client named Lena, who she called Lena. And Lena presented to her with physical symptoms like insomnia, allergies, poor digestion, and episodic asthma. Come to find out that she had extreme social anxiety, and she had broken off 2 potentially serious relationships. When she was 7 years old, she was in the car with a cousin who she considered to be her best friend. And they got into a car accident, and the cousin died. And so she carried with her survivor's guilt, and also the thought that it should have been her, and not him, that had died in the accident. So in exploring that beyond this physical incarnation, she had a dream, and she started talking about sacrifice and how she had sacrificed herself in this lifetime. And this says, the sea is cold and dark. A prehistoric figure with big, blocky stones up his back is the air. And he wants me for something. He wants me to climb his back. I'm supposed to die up on top. It's like a scene from Residence Gates of Hell. There are many small people, like from a shtetl, which a shtetl is a poor Jewish community, clustered together at the feet of the figure. The closer you are to death, the closer you are to us. The prehistoric figure looks at me with the eyes of my grandmother. So her grandfather was married twice. And his first wife, who she didn't know, was the grandmother that she identified with, and whose ancestry she was carrying. The grandmother that she knew, who he had, when he married again, she was the maternal granddaughter. She did not identify with her the same way. But this grandmother that she identified with was, in whatever way, shape, or form, part of her ancestry. The story of the grandfather and what had happened, and the trauma that Lena was carrying from it. So the accident in her early years had established a core belief that she was not meant to be alive and did not belong to this world. Why, in fact, would you want to stay in such a world? And this voice seemed to whisper in her ear constantly, this is a place where cruel mistakes happen, where life is utterly random, fallible, and not to be trusted. And she didn't trust life. Or coming to know that grandmother was part of her ancestry helped her to change the way she lived and to accept that she was here for a reason. So that's how our ancestry works for us, or works through us. Dr. Terza says we cannot change past events, but we can change what we make of those events. We cannot change history, but we can change the outcome of history. And always we're changing that for ourselves. So we can go to the next slide.
Is she talking about cellular memory?
She's talking about some of it is cellular memory, yeah. And we carry that. So trauma. This guy is great too. I don't know if you all know who Monte Gabor is, but he's really good. According to Monte Gabor, trauma is the lasting wound or imprint on the body and psyche resulting from the event. He emphasizes that trauma is what happens inside us as a result of what happens to us. It can be multi-generational, passed down through generations. Okay, so there are 4 hallmarks of trauma. Dissociation, which is psychic numbing. Hyperarousal, which is hyperreactivity. Toxic shame and isolation. And reenactment, the unwitting tendency to recreate one's injuries on self or others. And so we carry that trauma with us. We carry the trauma also of what we don't know or haven't realized that's going on inside of us because of our ancestors. A family's painful patterns and unresolved trauma can become frozen in time, trapped in the unconscious field of a family. So here are the premises of ancestral healing. Consciousness continues after death. Our physical remains return to the earth, while our non-tangible spirit ascends. From ancient times, revered traditions have taught that after death, our spirit lives on, ultimately taking its place in the ancestral realm. Dying does not make one enlightened. We take our unworked issues with us. Just like we do in life, our ancestors exist on a spectrum of wellness to illness. Especially if a soul has endured traumas during life or death, their pain patterns can get lodged within and trapped in the resonance field of the family. Recruiting our ancestors as allies can help us to heal. It also helps them take their rightful place in the ancestral lineage. Making a forthright request can open channels of pure and love, helping to energize both us and our family field, allowing us to reorganize in really palpable ways.
While we're taking a moment, does anyone here have awareness of trauma in your family? Like Lisa said, bringing your awareness to it is an opportunity for you to be the healer in your family, to break the chain of that ancestral wound. And I don't know if in your tradition, but in the tradition I learned, when we heal the wound for us in the present, and we're reaching back to our ancestors, it's the old Seneca saying, we reach back 7 generations backward and 7 generations forward. And so think about that. Taking time to heal ourselves can make a difference for our descendants.
But as I've done this work, the thing that has come to me, or that I've heard many times, is pogroms. So careful intention is key. Both entering and exiting the imaginal realm, which we're going to do, requires special care. We can go to the next, yes. It's a sphere that is not less real, but more real than a so-called objective reality whose generative energy can change the course of events in this world. So you might look at it as going into your imagination, but it's much more real than that. So we're going to enter slowly and use grounding. And you're going to notice everything, including existence. And we will return gradually to our senses and then shift gears. So this is what I want us to do. We have ancestral allies. And Teresa calls them wise and well ancestors. And so they can be they can be relatives, they can be historical figures. Anybody that you have admired that has been on the planet can be a wise and well ancestor. And so the one thing that you cannot do when you go into the imaginal realm is to call on ancestors that have not been gone for shorter than a year, because they're still gathering their energies to be where they are. And so we don't disturb them for the first year, okay? I want you to take a minute and think about who your wise and well ancestors may be. And I'll give you an example. My brother, he's been gone almost 18 years. When he left here, he was not wise or well. He lived hard and he burned out at an early age. He was 55. Never in those early years after he left would I have considered him to be a wise and well ancestor. But because we stayed connected, we've worked through a lot of things that we didn't work through here. So take a minute and think about who might that be for you. But we are going to go and find them. Okay. So just take a moment and uncross anything that's crossed. And just take some deep breaths. Bring yourself into a place that has meaning. It can be a beach, it can be mountains, it can be a room, okay? It can be anywhere. And as you are sitting in this place, just imagine a rod of light that goes from the top of your head to the bottoms of your feet, reaching into the ground and up to the sky. And so you are grounded in both positions. And as you are in this place, a place that is comfortable to you, a place that you feel at one. A being, several beings may show up for you. They may be ones you are expecting. They may be ones you are not expecting. But let them. Just allow whoever shows up to be there for you. These wise and well ancestors want you to know that they are there for you to help you in exploring your ancestors. That every time you go into the imaginal realm, that they will be with you. If no one shows up, that's okay. Because it may be an ancestor you're not familiar with, that is coming from a long time ago, and maybe you feel their presence. So just welcome them in, knowing that they are there for you. Give thanks. Because you will be called on. When you feel ready to come back to present time, just open your eyes. So, I can tell you that my wise and well ancestors are my brother, two dear friends who have left way too early for me to have them there, and my friend Blake. And whenever I call on them, I can feel them immediately. So anybody like to share anybody who showed up for them? Maddie?
So my grandmother and my aunt showed up. The surprise was my mother showed up. I wouldn't have thought she'd be well, but I asked her and she said she's not allowed.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the way I felt about my brother. When I feel my brother in spirit, it is not the same person at all. Yes?
I had a couple of ancestors kind of like come in very hazy, but the one that came in really strong was my Uncle Don. And I'll never forget the first time he came to me in spirit. I was at a Brian Weiss workshop, and he said, imagine a happy time in your childhood. I happened to have been going through PTSD at the time, and I freaked out when he said that because I thought, I can't remember a happy time in my childhood. But all of a sudden, my Uncle Don showed up. And so that he would show up again today. And the reason why I wanted to share this was, that he came to me to remind me that I did have some happy times, even though I had a traumatic childhood. And he also let me know he had been watching over me. So much so that he made sure that private detectives discovered this inheritance that he had left that my father didn't know anything about. And he made sure that my father's children, because my father was deceased at the time, but he made sure my father's children got that inheritance, which helped me take the time to do some healing work. Well, the reason why I wanted to share that story is they're helping us from the other side. And that was just one of the best examples of how they have helped me. So, you know, don't be afraid to invite them into your life.
Can you do the next slide, please? Okay, genograms. One of the ways to learn how you are connected to your family is through a genogram. And it's a map of your family tree. It shows you how it's not a family tree, but it is a map of how you are connected through characteristics, through ruptures, through things that have happened that you align with. And the genogram is very eye-opening. Years ago, I had a counselor who did one with me. And so it gives us a broad frame of reference, and it de-intensifies a narrow focus on ourselves and our immediate family. So it takes us beyond that. It provides socio-political, historical, and economic context, and it reveals patterns, positive dynamics, allies, and hidden strengths. And one of the things that I've been working on is my own genogram. And I'm still working on it. This is mine at the moment. And what I learned from Terza is that you really should do one side of the family and then do the other side of the family and then see how they connect from there. I'm going to share with you, pass this around. This is Barack Obama's. This is his genogram, a genogram that somebody did. And he had a unique situation because he had a white mother and a black father. And so looking at those different historical timelines and how they fit for him was really interesting to go through. Look at that, pass that around. One of the things that I say discovered, but it really wasn't a discovery, just something I hadn't acknowledged, was that I am so like my maternal grandmother. And I didn't like her. I didn't like her. But I am so like her that it was interesting to see within myself that I carry. That is her, you know, so that I can work through the parts of it that I don't or I didn't. And really, what was it? Part of it was fierce independence, and it scared me. And I think my independence has been scary at times. So just looking at those things and acknowledging those things has been really enlightening for me. Acknowledging and releasing. Releasing what doesn't fit, releasing what does fit, and I've acknowledged it and I can deal with it. And since I've been doing this work, I think I come from a long line of independent women. I also think I come from a line of women who, or maybe men as well, who are afraid to be seen and heard. And I think that's part of what this is about.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I said, I think that's part of what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've spent a lot of time in my life consciously trying to be invisible. And I think that that is
Still be
ancestral trait.
independent.
Well, yeah, but if you look at my lineage, it wasn't safe to be me. It wasn't safe for them to be them, you know, and I had carried that into this now. And when I say that I'm working to break the harmful family patterns, that's one of them. And this is another. So actually, I thank you all for witnessing this today because I'm better. Feel a little. All right. So let's talk about pain body. The pain body, that's what we carry. It's an accumulation of painful life experiences that have not been faced and integrated. The genogram helps you do that as well. Leaving behind a palpable sense or energy body of emotional pain. So we all carry this in ourselves. And he says, Eckhart Tolle, that's Eckhart Tolle for whoever doesn't know. He says the pain body wants to survive. And it can only survive if it gets you to unconsciously identify with it. It will feed on any experience that resonates with its own kind of energy. So, our parents held pain bodies that they were not aware of. And I have come to associate the pain body with our inner child because that also is not always acknowledged, right? And that's what's running the show in this. Okay, a dissatisfied, unhappy, didn't get what it needed kind of thing. And holding on to a pain body also says we didn't get what we needed somewhere along the way. Or our ancestor didn't get what they needed and they passed that down to us through trauma. Okay. I can tell you that we all carry some form of trauma. And it's in our pain body. If we haven't acknowledged it, it works. So, what can the pain body do? Well, I've listed a whole bunch of things coming out of mind. The not wanting to be seen and heard. The needing to be not oblivious, but needing to be out of the way so that, you know, I didn't get in trouble or I didn't, whatever it was. And I also know that my family carries low self-esteem. I killed my brother. And I saw it surface in my parents as they got older. And it really came to the forefront because they could no longer hide it. So there are a lot of things in my pain body. So what we're going to do, we're going to go into another meditation that takes us into the ancestral halls. And what I want you to do is to just take a minute and think about one or two things that could be lodged in your pain body. And then we're going to take that into these, into the imaginal realm. Okay. So when you think you have one or two things that you can go with, just raise your hand. I'm not going to ask you what they are, but just so we know that you're on your way. Okay. Got things to go with. Okay. I did this meditation with terms of, and it was the most profound thing I had done that showed me that my ancestors were with me, understood, and that I was carrying this for them to break. Okay. So we ready to go? Everybody feel ready? Okay. So I'm just going to ask again for you to take a couple of deep breaths. And again, to visualize the shining golden rod of light that's going from your from the sky down through your body into the ground. So that you are grounded in the situation. I would like you to invite in your wise and well ancestors, because they're the most. And then I want you to imagine yourself standing outside of the door. It doesn't matter what kind of a door, whether it's wooden or metal or whatever, it doesn't matter. But just a door that comes to your mind from which you can enter this. And when we open this door, you're going to walk inside your hall of ancestors with your wise and well ancestors flanking you. So on the count of 3, we'll open the door and step inside. 1, 2, 3. Now your hall of ancestors may look completely and totally different than anyone else's, but it's yours. So however you imagine this, you are going to see a column of your mother's ancestors and a column of your father's ancestors. Or a hallway. It's easier for you to visualize a hallway. Mother's ancestors are standing from one side, and your father's on the other, and it is from the most recently departed all the way back. And it may be that you look down a hallway and there's so many ancestors that you can't see them. That's okay. So you are going to walk over to first your mother's hallway, or the female ancestors, maternal ancestors. And you are going to tell them what your pain body is. And you are going to invite all of the ancestors to share that pain body to join you. But this is how it's going to happen. You are going to walk down the hallway. And as you walk down the hallway, they will get in line behind you. Will follow you. So walk down the hallway. All of those who resonate with your pain body are going to follow you. Now, as they step into the hallway, you may or may not recognize them. And that's okay. You have a common bond. How you're going to walk over to the maternal side of the family. You are going to tell them what your pain body is and do the same thing. Invite all of those who share that with us to come and follow you. So you walk down the hallway. And they fall in line. Into them. Those- There may just be a feeling but all of them want to release this pain body. The thing of it is, to know is you look at these ancestors and you are not that. They understand, they know. They look to you to release what you've done of that being. They are there to help. So just acknowledge all of the maternal ancestors. They can go back into the hallway and acknowledge all of the paternal ancestors. And they can go back. Their promise to you is to help and to be there when you call on them, or call for them to help you release this pain so that you can move forward. And in your moving forward, pain is not something that is carried through your lineage. So your wise and all ancestors stand with you. And they are also there for you anytime. So we are going to get ready to move your ancestral hall. So turn towards the door. And as you get to the door, back, turn around, back, out of the door with your wise and well ancestors. And you close the door. You can come back to your ancestors at any time that you wish to connect. You don't even have to go through the door. They're there. So thank your wise and well ancestors for journeying with you. Slowly bring yourself back. I found that to be pretty for them to do that. How did you all feel about it? You have. So I've been in those ancestral halls a number of times now. And there was one time I went in there and some woman stepped out from my mom's side of the family, from the maternal side. She looked so familiar to me, and she just stared at me. And I've gone back to picture albums now, I'm trying to find her, but I don't know if she was, you know, around during times when they took pictures. I don't know, you know. But she looked really familiar to me. She wanted to be noticed. So the one thing that I want to say about going into the imaginal realms, going into the halls, is to go with reverence and appreciation. You know, it's not just a free for all place to go. It's where your ancestors are residing, however you have seen them in that hall or wherever you in the field or wherever. But to take your wise and well ancestors with you and to treat it very respectfully. Because this is your legacy, or you're their legacy, or however that works. But they really want to be released from the things that they have carried generation to generation to generation. So I think you all have helped me break a pattern of not being heard or not being whatever. Thank you. That through your ancestors, you can release trauma and anything that you carry that has been passed down generations that you may not be aware of. Like I used to have a big fear of knives for no reason, but now I know why.